Eisenberg would at least get a nod for like a nomination.
Yeah, for his performance, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope he wins. I don't know. What else does he have to compete against this year?
See, I don't know. It really hasn't, in my opinion, hasn't been a great year.
Yeah, it hasn't. It's. I think that's like almost everybody's opinion. Yeah, we've had some shitty movies.
The only one I can really think of, and I haven't had a chance to see it, is Inception. That's supposed to be pretty good. Did you get to see that?
Yeah, I really liked Inception. Some people think it's overrated. I still love it no matter what. People can say it's overrated all they want. I really liked it. Leonardo DiCaprio I thought was great in that, but I still don't think that. I think Jesse Eisenberg should win over that.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I hope so just because it'll encourage more people to make movies like this.
Yeah.
They're already doing a Google movie.
Are they?
Yeah, it's off the book called Google: The End of the World as We Know It. So I think it's just in pre-production. Probably just adapting the script on that. But
do you know who's writing or anything?
I don't.
Oh.
I don't.
I'm gonna see if I can look it up here. Google movie. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's find out here. No news on the writer or anything. But it could be good if they made a great movie like this.
I was going to say, have you seen Pirates of the Silicon Valley?
I have not.
You can actually find that one on YouTube, and it's really good. It was made for TV back in '99, but it's still really good. It's about Microsoft and Apple, and it's sort of funny because there's the scene in The Social Network with Bill Gates is very much like Pirates of the Silicon Valley. It's almost, the things you're saying is almost verbatim from that film, so it's almost like a nod.
Oh.
Because there really aren't that many films like this. The only other one I can think of is Antitrust, and that one was, sort of okay, but it was sort of purely fiction. It wasn't really based on a book. It wasn't really based on actual events.
I'll have to check that one out anyway, though, just because it sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's really good. Probably the best made-for-TV movie I've ever seen. I don't know why it wasn't an actual movie. Probably just because they didn't know how it would actually do in theaters.
Yeah.
But I think that people are going to be a little bit more willing to take a risk on movies now that they've seen that The Social Network can do good. You know what I found interesting is Social Network was #1 for 2 weeks in a row. Then after that, it's Jackass 3D. Like, it's such a difference.
Yeah. It's only because of, if you really think about it, though, nothing came out the week after Social Network. It was like, I think it was Life as We Know It, and there was one more movie. I don't remember what it was that it was going up against, but Life as We Know It probably wouldn't have gotten that much money, and it didn't. I don't remember what it got, but I remember it was not very good. Yeah, so that's probably why it's stayed up there. People like, oh, what came out this weekend? Nothing? Oh, let's go see Social. So hopefully they were pleasantly surprised by it.
Yeah, it's too soon to know, but I think it's going to have some staying power. I had to go to Windsor to see it. Windsor is right across from Detroit, and it's about 45 minutes away from where I live. It's not super far. But the local theater here just got it yesterday, so I think you're going to see a lot of little theaters starting to get it. And it might have a second wind in it yet. And I don't think there's much else coming out this year, so it might go for a few months. And it'll probably do good on DVD because it's the type of movie I think people won't necessarily feel the need to see on the big screen.
Yeah. If it gets nominated for an Oscar, which I really hope it does, I'm assuming it's going to do really well on DVD after that, especially if it wins. Like, because you remember how Hurt Locker did in theaters. Like, nobody saw that one. I know I didn't. I only ended up watching it when I found out that it was nominated. So I was trying to get to see everything that was going to be nominated for the Oscars that year. So that I hope that's what happens with Social Network. Like everybody starts to watch it because they hear about it.
Yeah, absolutely. To me, this movie would be successful either A, if it made a profit, or B, if it got an Oscar. And it looks like it might do both, so.
Yeah. Because it did really well critically. Yeah, you saw the Rotten Tomato score, it's like 97, I think.
Yeah, for a little while it was 100%.
Yeah, I know. And then stupid Armond White.
There are some people who are going to be sort of contrarian. They will dislike it just because everybody else does, and they will like it just because everybody else doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Armond White is. He's that person. It just angers me so much. I just have to rant about him a little bit. I just hate him because he liked Clash of the Titans, but he didn't like Social Network. It just makes no sense.
I mean, there were a few things I didn't like about Social Network, but sort of very few things. Like I didn't care for that boat scene, but I mean,
what? Oh my god, I love that scene.
You know what? Like, I like it by itself, but it just is so jarring in the movie. Like it's almost like they dropped a little music video right in there.
I just love the way it was shot. How David Fincher shot that whole scene and the different angles and everything. He did it with such a dark tone. It was just so well done. And the music was perfect for the scene too.
And see, I don't disagree with that. It's so jarringly different that it's sort of like if you were to turn on MTV or whatever and see it, like I would think it'd be really cool. But just in terms of the movie, it sort of took me out of the movie for a second, and then like I remember watching it, and I sort of turned to my girlfriend and said, "Oh look, they're using the tilt shift photography, and they're making it look like it's miniature and everything."
I guess I can agree with you on that it kind of doesn't really fit in with the rest of the movie. But I just thought because the scene was just so well done, I could completely forgive it for that. Like, just not fitting in. It was, I don't know, I love the scene. Yeah. Oh.
And there were, what did you think of the multiple timeline things? Like that I found a bit confusing.
Oh, with how it went to courtroom and then went back to the flashback, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. At first, I was confused by it because I had no idea that this was a courtroom drama. So when I saw the movie, I was because I knew it took place in a courtroom, but I didn't know it was going to be like that. And so I was confused at first. I was like, "Wait, what's going on?" Oh, okay. Oh, wait, what? And then I finally got into it after like about 5 minutes.
I guess the thing I didn't like is the fact that there were two court cases going on, and
oh yeah, that was also kind of confusing too because he didn't know which lawyer he was talking to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when I originally heard it was going to be done sort of with the different timelines, I really liked the idea because if you go and watch the West Wing or Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, there's a couple episodes like that. When he does that, he only has two timelines. And they sort of run almost parallel, like 5 minutes in the real timeline, then 5 minutes of flashbacks and back and forth and back and forth. With this, it was like mostly it's a flashback, and then it'll cut for 10 or 15 or 30 seconds to the one court scene, and back to the other one for 5 seconds, and back and back and back, and then I never really got the impression that there was sort of an alpha timeline. Sort of like what one is sort of the latest timeline, and I guess you sort of find out at the end that the timeline where Eduardo was suing him.
Yeah, he was the most recent one. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's sort of I don't know. I think that because you sort of have the three timelines, I think it's almost too much.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing the book doesn't do is unless it's at the very end, is really use the court thing. I mean, I know it goes off the deposition documents, but you don't really have anything set in the court unless it's at the very, very end of the book and haven't got there
Yeah.
yet. I mean, but it's sort of a minor complaint. Like I would still say the movie is probably certainly the best movie I've seen this year.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. If I could pick the best movie of the year, it would be Social Network. Mainly because this year sucked in movies. And I haven't seen too many movies that really stood out like this one. So I don't know about you though. Obviously, you liked it. But
Yeah, I'm gonna get it on. Well, I don't have a Blu-ray player, but I'm hoping to get a Blu-ray player before it comes out, and I'll definitely get it on Blu-ray. And I think that I know a lot of people are watching it online because you can find the canned version.
yeah,
But I think you're really missing something because it is so beautifully shot. And what did you think of the score actually?
I love the score. Trent Reznor. I don't know. It's something about the way Trent Reznor does his music. This one in particular was very electronic, which really fit with this era. So you kind of get the whole technologic feel and everything like that. It really just added to the movie and the whole experience.
Yeah, I see. I always felt like this movie was almost made for me because it's about technology, which I'm really into. It's written by my favorite writer, directed by David Fincher, and then finally, it's all young people roughly my age, and then finally the fact that music was by Trent Reznor. It was sort of like, all of my favorite things together, and then it actually worked. It's not like putting
The Expendables.
yeah, yeah. There was a CSI where they used some Nine Inch Nails. CSI Miami, and I can't remember the name of the episode or anything, but it's somebody's going to be executed, and it's Nine Inch Nails song. It works very well there, so I think that hopefully more and more people won't be afraid to use that type of music in a movie either.
Yeah, 'cause music really does add to a movie. Well, whenever I do a review, I always think to mention the score. Sometimes I forget, and I'm like ashamed of myself, especially if the score is like really good. And because the score just really adds to the whole effect of the movie. It's not like because sometimes the score can completely ruin the movie too. Like if you remember Watchmen, have you seen that one?
I haven't actually.
Okay, well, that soundtrack was just really out of place. There's one scene where they were using Simon and Garfunkel, and it was just completely unnecessary. I was like, why does that work? And I'm Your Boogeyman was also one of the songs too. It was just used for no reason. That was something where the soundtrack just completely didn't work. But something like The Social Network, Trent Reznor just really knew how to work that score in.
Yeah, I think in most cases, you really have to compose an original soundtrack. I mean, there's enough time where a song that's already made will work. Like, towards the end of this movie, it's actually a Beatles song that they go into the credits with. But 9 times out of 10, I really think you need an original score.
Yeah.
With the West Wing, too, it's all like orchestra music for that. I think that was another reason that I was so surprised, but pleasantly surprised that Trent Reznor was doing the music for this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like the music in this. It's very catchy. I downloaded the whole thing like the day I came back from the movie. I had to go like online since it wasn't on iTunes yet, so I had to find another site, and then they had it for like $5. So I was like, yay!
Yeah, Trent Reznor's really been doing very good with the digital stuff. He's been doing a lot of stuff for free, a lot of stuff for cheap.
Yeah, because I'm assuming this would have probably costed like $12 if it were on iTunes.
Yeah. I think you can get the physical CD for about $10.
Yeah.
But even like with his last few albums, if you buy the actual CD, he'll give you a digital version that you can put in GarageBand and actually make your own edits.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, you actually mentioned you use GarageBand, so, but it is sort of an extra thing, and I think he's always been really good at giving people